We got another voicemail of Truth and Reason about Hugh Jackson.
I think it's high time that we, the loyal sports fans of Cleveland, band together and get a restraining order against Hugh Jackson. Because it just doesn't seem like he can leave us alone, like a scorned lover or something. I don't know, maybe something you'd see on Jerry Springer. It's crazy. I don't know, man. Let me know what you think. I was also thinking to myself, wow, who are the geniuses that thought Odell Beckham Jr. wanted to be a Cleveland Brown? But I couldn't remember, so maybe you guys can remind me. Hey, you guys are doing a great job. Thanks, man. See ya.
All right. That had me cracking up. Hugh Jackson's kind of like a stalker for Browns fans. Won't go away. Wish him the best at Grambling State. We'll get to the second part of that, the Odell Beckham thing. But yeah, Hugh, move on, Hugh. I wouldn't think you want to relive this. It wasn't good. Rewrite things at Grambling State where you're now the head coach. I wish him the best. I want him to do well. I don't root against anybody. But man, move on.
Yeah, I kind of want him to do at Grambling State what Deion Sanders is doing at Jackson State. Do I think he's going to be able to get the number one recruit in the country in a future year? No, I don't think so, because that's one in a lifetime situation. But yeah, it's hard to believe that Hugh Jackson just can't seem to let this go. I mean, maybe part of it is just that he hadn't been able to get a job in the NFL as a result of this. Maybe he feels scorned or whatever. And it's like I was saying earlier, I mean, in the NFL, you got to perform. It's a results business. And if you don't get the results, you're not going to get the jobs. And that's the bottom line with Hugh Jackson. And maybe he feels like the team didn't tell him how bad things were going to be. And I mean, they took it down to the studs before the 2016 season, tried to rebuild. But as a coach, you got to know what you're signing up for. You got to know for 100% that this is going to be a rebuilding job, that you got to find a way to maximize what you have on your roster. And he didn't do it. And I'm always thinking about 2017 with the yo-yoing he did with DeShone Kizer, quarterback, playing with 4 different quarterbacks that season. And I know Kizer wasn't good that season. I'm not making excuses for DeShone Kizer, but he did nothing to help him. He did nothing to make his job easier. He did nothing to help his offense. In fact, I'd argue he held them back even more than you would think for that team, because you just never saw any creativity. You never saw him get the most out of anybody. And, there's some coaches that can elevate teams and make them better than the sum of their parts. Hugh Jackson was not even close to them. That's why it took him so long to get another job.
Yeah, and as far as the Odell Beckham Jr. thing is, John Dorsey is the guy who went out and engineered that trade. And I get it. If a guy doesn't want to be here, you can't make somebody. It was, I think it was Mike Tomlin that said, we're looking for volunteers, not prisoners. And Odell acted like he was a prisoner of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and like you said about Hugh Jackson, it was something at the time with Odell Beckham that seemed like a no-brainer. John Dorsey trying to bring in a guy to take this offense to the next level. But if the guy just doesn't want to be here, doesn't want to perform, and all the things he said really have kind of changed my opinion of how this played out. I thought for a while this was a decision that even after they let him go, that I would have done the trade again. But now you look back on it, you keep that pick and maybe take Hollywood Brown, reunite Baker with his college teammate from Oklahoma, see if you can make that work, instead of, giving up a whole lot for a guy who really created a problem for those last couple of seasons, particularly the way he left in 2021. And he kind of left an offense in his wake when he went to Los Angeles.